Silence isn't empty. It's evidence of who you really are. I didn't understand that sentence, not really, until the first time my mind actually went quiet. Not quiet like a break from noise, but quiet like the whole world stopped breathing with me. Quiet, like something ancient inside me finally woke up. I had spent my whole life thinking awareness was just thinking, that being conscious meant my mind was active, busy, analyzing, trying to understand everything around me. I thought silence meant something was missing. But the truth is, silence doesn't remove anything. Silence reveals everything. And when I say silence, I don't mean the room around you goes quiet. I mean your mind stops producing reality for a moment. No commentary. No memory, no identity, no me telling stories, just pure awareness. The science of this and the experience of it are both far more powerful than I ever expected. It started one evening when I was overwhelmed, not by life, but by my own inner noise. I sat down, closed my eyes, and instead of trying to meditate, I just watched my thoughts come and go. They moved fast at first, snapping from one idea to another. But slowly, something shifted. The space between thoughts grew wider. The mind's momentum began to slow. And then, for the very first time in my life, my mind went silent. Not because I forced it, not because I did anything right, but because I finally stopped interfering. And what happened next wasn't mystical, it wasn't religious, it wasn't even emotional. It was scientific, biological, real. When the mind goes silent, the brain switches networks. It leaves the default mode network, the part that creates your sense of identity, and activates regions associated with presence, perception, and direct experience. It's like stepping out of a noisy theater and realizing the world was quiet the whole time. In that moment, I wasn't my past. I wasn't my plans. I wasn't the image I had built. I wasn't the voice that always comments on everything. I was awareness, naked, open, alive. And the weirdest part, it felt more familiar than my own name. But then, after a few seconds of stillness, the mind came back online. It always does. Thoughts began flooding in again. What was that? Am I doing this right? Was I supposed to feel something else? Don't lose it. Try to get it back. And just like that, I fell out of awareness and right back into the noise. But I had seen enough to know something was waiting beneath the surface. So I kept exploring, not trying to create silence, but learning to recognize it. That was the biggest shift. Silence isn't something you make. Silence is something you notice when the mind gets out of the way. The more I observed, the more I understood something that feels obvious now. Awareness doesn't come from thought. Thought comes from awareness. The mind is just a tool, a brilliant, fast, creative tool. But awareness is the space it floats in. It's the container, the background, the foundation. And when the mind stops, you don't disappear. Your awareness becomes undeniable. Scientists describe this state as a reduction in self-referential processing, meaning the brain stops looping the I, me, mine narrative. But the experience, the lived reality, feels like stepping out of a prison you never realized you built. When the mind goes silent, the world becomes brighter, colors look cleaner, sounds feel closer, your body feels lighter. Not because reality changed, but because you're finally perceiving it without the filter of constant mental interpretation. But here's the part that truly changed my life. Awareness isn't just a state, it's a perspective, a position, a way of experiencing reality from the inside out. Thought has a shape, emotion has a shape, identity has a shape, but awareness has no shape at all. It simply is. And that's why silence is so powerful. When thought stops, you meet the part of yourself that thinking has been covering up. I started noticing something else too. Awareness doesn't judge. Awareness doesn't resist. Awareness doesn't fear. Only thought does that. Awareness just observes, quietly, clearly, without effort. And when I rested in that state, even for a moment, I felt something like freedom. Not the freedom to do anything, but the freedom to be anything. As I continued exploring this inner space, I realized the mind isn't the enemy. It's just loud. Loud enough that we forget there's a deeper intelligence beneath it. When the mind goes silent, that intelligence wakes up. Call it presence, call it consciousness, call it the observer, call it awareness. Whatever name you choose, it's the same thing. The part of you that exists without thought. And the science is clear. This state is measurable. It increases alpha coherence. It lowers stress hormones. It expands perceptual awareness. It activates regions of the brain tied to insight, clarity, and emotional regulation. Stillness isn't passive. Stillness is a biological upgrade. But the most surprising discovery was this. Silence doesn't just show you who you are. Silence shows you what you've been avoiding. When the mind stops distracting you, you see your fears clearly. You see your patterns. You see your longing. You see your truth. It's all there, waiting in the quiet. And awareness doesn't fix anything for you. It doesn't remove fear or rewrite your past. It just shows everything exactly as it is, without distortion. And strangely, that alone begins to heal you. Because nothing is as heavy as the stories we build around our pain. When the stories fall silent, the pain becomes smaller, and the truth becomes simple. So now, whenever I feel overwhelmed, or confused, or lost inside my own mind, I do just one thing. I stop, I breathe, I let the noise settle. And in that settling, the silence returns, not as an escape, but as a home, a reminder, a mirror, a truth. Silence isn't empty, it's evidence of who you